Unpopular opinion. I love running in hot weather, extremely hot weather. It feels amazing. I know I'm the minority, but maybe, just maybe, there is some science and merit to training in the heat, the extreme heat versus the extreme cold. Or maybe I'm just crazy. In this episode, my goal is to slightly convince you of whatever you believe in, so the opposite of where your stance is, so that you can try it in your own life and make yourself a better running human, and so that you can learn these things: the advantages of running in very cold weather, the benefits of running in extreme hot weather, the mental toughness developed from running in each of those polar opposite extreme temperatures, how to dress for both, the downsides of each one, and more. I'm Darren D. Lake Runs, been running since 1994, sub 3 hour marathon runner, 10-hour Ironman finisher, and since 2012, I've been researching, talking to experts, and experimenting on myself on how to get 1% better in my training, racing, and life, just to make it a bit easier for you. Sounds dope? Nice. Let's get into it.
Good people of the internet, welcome back to This or That, the show where we discuss polarizing topics in the endurance sports space. Here with my co-host of the D Lake podcast and newsletter. You know him, Darren. How you feeling, brother?
I'm doing very well, and we are recording, and we got a time crunch because, ain't nobody got time for that. So we need to get through this. This episode is on would you rather train in extreme cold or extreme heat, defined as like very, 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 very cold, very uncomfortable, and very, very, very hot. So it's not like slightly cold and slightly hot. And let's get exact numbers. This is like below 0 degrees Fahrenheit, or, in the negatives for Celsius, -10, -20 Celsius, or as you get into, I'd say 85, 90 degrees, probably in the 90-degree point plus Fahrenheit for heat. And that would be about 35 degrees, 35, 37 degrees Celsius, because we do have people from all over the world.
And don't forget to factor in your dew points and your humidities, because that's all important too. Now, this is a packed topic, and it's extremely subjective, right? Because we're not all built for heat. We're not all built for cold. So we had to, one more time, get Judge Laura Green in here to help adjudicate this matter. But first, Darren, where do you stand?
Well, before I get to where I stand, always want to tell everyone the whole point of this or that series isn't to just be like, oh, I'm right and you're wrong, this is black and white. It's actually to show the gray area in the middle, because how you've been doing something may not be the best thing for you, because the other side and the whys of the other side, which comes from our community and the people's responses, might be of interest for you to try it. And everyone's, especially with hot and cold, is very much like, I'm putting my foot in, putting my stake in the ground, and this is what I do because of my body, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to get to why I do what I do. All right, so the two reasons why, and they're very silly, they're very subjective, but I'm just a warm-blooded creature. Like, these people out here that like this cold weather, and I'm going to be in Celsius to Fahrenheit, so I'll be bouncing between. But, if we're out here in minus 10 degrees Celsius, which is like 20 degrees Fahrenheit, no. Any day, 80, 90 degree Fahrenheit, 30 to 35 degrees Celsius day, I'm out here. I can do a 60, 90-minute run. I wouldn't push it to 2 hours in that heat middle of the day. That does get dangerous. I'd probably take a bit of a break, make sure I fuel up, make sure I hydrate up, have the proper electrolytes. But I just love the feeling of being outside, not having any clothes on, or minimal clothes on, and just sweating. Like, I like when I step outside and I sweat a bit. And yes, you can layer up, et cetera, but when you sweat, because I always sweat, I sweat under the layer. So now I've got this layer of moisture, and it's cold. So don't let me stop running to go to the store or get something to drink, or, stop to have a coffee or chat with someone. 5 minutes, I'm freezing cold now, and I gotta start running with sweat. No. And if I'm cycling, oh boy, swimming, no. Cold weather, no go. But the other reason is I think I perform better in the warm weather, up to a limit. Basically, you want to go, all right, my pace is gonna slow down based on this heat. I don't really do that. But I run short. I'm not out here running 5 hours in the heat. I run short, and yes, I can even hurt myself, and my performance does degrade if I'm out there doing 30, 40 minutes on the track. It just feels good. I'm just gonna keep it as it is. I like it. I'm gonna keep doing it. That's how I am.
You can always put more on, but we live in a society, y'all. There's only so much that we can actually take off. So extreme heat, extreme cold, give me the cold, because there's no such thing as bad weather, just bad gear and preparation. So as those temperatures drop, you've got so many options to layer up, starting with a hat, maybe some gloves, tights if you get down like that, wool socks, throw on a vest if you need to, a jacket, a scarf. So many options to bundle up and stay warm, even down to like foot warmers, hand warmers. The list goes on and on. We have so many things available to make the cold weather more bearable. But once it gets so hot, I already took my shirt off and I'm wearing 2-inch shorts. There's not a whole lot else to go from there. You know what I mean? And that's not to say I love the cold weather anyway. Look, I'm a Caribbean dude. I don't like anything about the cold, snow, or being cold. But when it comes to endurance sports, you're generating heat anyway, right? You're running, you're cycling, or just generally moving and working up that core temperature. So it's only really cold either if you're not prepared or you stop moving. Don't stop moving, and it shouldn't be a problem.
Whew. Okay, so let's take a look at some poll responses from our community members. What do we got, my dude?
All right, so I polled a lot of people. 79% said very cold. I knew it would be like this. 21% said very warm. So you're all going against me, which is all good. And I'll talk about that in a bit. Why I might be taking the other side. But let's go to some of the actual reasons why other people. So there was a lot of responses here. You can, from Rise Bob 1, you can rug up for the cold, but you can't escape the heat. That's true. Easy to work harder. I don't know what she said. I think she said cold. Less hassle of all the clothes to put on. That's for heat. Yes. Enjoy the snow. Oh, this is the person. Cold because one of you start doing sports is easier to continue. Cold is less sweaty, and I can keep my heart rate lower and perform better. Fair. Another one, I'm a heavy sweater. The cold is just easier. I've done minus 20 degrees Celsius, and I prefer that to 30 plus. So that's like 0 degrees Fahrenheit, and then 30 degrees Celsius is about 85, 90. All right, so a lot of those responses, honestly, I knew they would be how they are.
I'm choosing the cold because I love attention. I post about literally every run I do every day. And the heat, it's hard to portray accurately on film with a camera. If it's extremely cold, usually there's snow, there's a bunch of wind because there's no leaves on the trees. So it's all like, and I'm like, yo, look at what I'm doing. You're not doing anything. It feels better to post about running in the cold.
Running in the cold kind of keeps me in motion, kind of makes me want to stay moving. And of course, that's always good, right? That's the goal. So for that, as well as, when I do work up a sweat, get that heart rate up, get my, body temperature up, I feel like I have that instant kind of cooling from the temperature of the air. And then lastly, I feel like running in extreme heat would just lead to overexhaustion and heat stroke.
I'll pick the heat. Because you can always cool down afterwards. I just don't like getting super cold. When I'm running in the cold, making sure I stay warm is the issue. But yeah, it's a tough one. I do like them both, but we're going to pick running in the heat. So long as you stay hydrated, that's the main thing.
Put on a woolen layer, put on some little gloves, put on a hat, and go out. You're probably not going to die of hypothermia, but you will faint outside if it's really hot and you get heat stroke in 10 minutes. Safety first, people. Can't take off a layer of skin. Can't bring a portable little mister with you. Just put on a hat and go running in the cold.
The cold every time. Reason being, you can always do something about the cold. You can always layer up or de-layer. For the heat, can't really do much. You can, if you watch Western States, you see people wear handkerchiefs, wet their shirt as much as they can. People say they have to do a lot of sauna time or running in the heat just to heat adapt. I never hear people say that about the cold.
right now is the part where I go, hey, if you're not feeling this, make sure you subscribe, rate, share it out with your friends about how amazing this is. Rah, 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 rah. All right. While you should go out and do that anyway, how about I actually give you something that will help you? Is the running, health and fitness, and endurance sport internet too much sometimes? Is it too much conflicting content on how to train right? Or you just don't have time to read and watch the latest trends on how to, I don't know, carb cycle for your next marathon? Don't worry. I'll take care of that for you by showing you how to train, race, and live 1% better consistently. To do this, just sign up for my free newsletter, OPB. I figure out this whole 1% better thing so you don't have to by scouring the endurance sports deepest and darkest corners of the internet. Go to dlatecreates.com/news, all spelled the normal way, to be inspired and motivated on the regular. Let's get back into it.
So we're back with our judge. This time, cold versus hot. You've heard what Darren had to say. You've heard what I've had to say. Laura, lay it down. Training in the extreme cold or extreme hot? What's it gotta be?
Extreme cold, 100%. I don't know if it's just my inability to run in heat.
Do you melt like butter?
Is it my genetic makeup? Is it my ethical background? Ethnic background? But it's like, my body just doesn't, it just starts dying the second I head outside. So I fully cover myself up and I do my best, but man, the second that my core temperature rises a certain, like I cannot run. I'm miserable the whole time. I'm thinking about how miserable I am.
Right.
I can't possibly keep up with the hydration. So 1000% cold. I mean, I will say the last few winters in Boston have been pretty mild. We've been pretty lucky.
Sure.
Yeah.
But when it gets cold, it is.
So what are we talking about extreme here? Like that weekend we had in February that was like -10, 20? Are we getting into negatives?
So
or are we still above
negatives? But I feel like with cold, you've got two extremes where it can just be the winds and the air temperatures.
Yeah.
Or in my mind, immediately it goes to snow, slush, and ice.
Right.
And when it comes to those extremes, you know, you can still do it. You can wear the, what do they call them, with the little cleats that you add on? Yak tracks. There you go. You can run in those. I've tried it. I don't love it.
Yeah.
I've been once upon a time known to shovel out the track to do a workout, but like, you know, that's a lot.
Right.
Versus now extreme heat. There are the temperatures, and then there's a humidity, you know, as a factor.
That dew point.
yeah, it's too real.
It's too real because you can't even escape it. You can wake up at 3 a.m. and it doesn't even matter. It's still terrible. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to environmental, like slipping around on the ice and snow, that becomes very difficult because you're just not even getting a good quality workout in. So that is true. That is true. And that's super annoying. But if it just comes to temperature, I mean, wind sucks, but you can always put more layers on.
Well, and I feel like at the end of the day, with either one of these, you have to temper expectations and modify greatly.
Yes.
And that always comes back down to, am I run walking? Am I jogging? Like, what's the effort actually look like to do this?
Yeah.
So then you got to really ask yourself, would you rather do that with your shirt off and 2-inch shorts or with a beanie on? And, you know,
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. But if you ask me what my favorite running season is, I'd pick winter over summer, at least here in Boston.
For sure. And I guess that's just another factor. The location definitely matters. While I, for one, as an island boy, hate everything about being cold and these winters, but the sound of either crunching on the light snow and the way that it transforms all your trails, like there is something to it. Besides just the going out and putting in the effort, like there's the scenery that changes things. I can't enjoy anything when I'm just fucking hot.
I can't. There's no joy.
So there it is. But you tell us in the comments, where do you land? Cold, hot, Do you melt? Do you freeze? What's it gonna be?
I mean, so there it is, man. The judge has decided, but I will say there are times where the cold really does start to grate on me, and depending on the effort, specifically now, we've mentioned this is endurance sports, but beyond just running, I would much rather go for a swim in, a warm swim than Arctic temperatures. And if I'm on a bike, my dude,
yes, that wind.
I would,
that
boy,
wind.
that will rip your skin off. So
Yeah.
I can always drink more, get some more electrolytes in me on a hot day on the bike, and you can definitely slow down and walk on a hot day out running. But when it's just like, sometimes it's you cold and you can't even get your words out and your eyebrows are frosted, and it's like that sometimes. But what about you, man? Have you been swayed to the dark side?
It's funny. I like doing everything in the heat. That was one of the big reasons why I moved to Australia. I mean, amongst others, but I was like, I get to train all year long because I definitely don't like the cold. I don't like the winter. When I was in New York City and even Baltimore, I didn't like those cold winters. But as I dive more into science and see my performance, and as I want to run faster, you got to be in that between 48 and 52 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 8 to 10 degrees Celsius temperature to run your best times. Anything colder, anything hotter or warmer, your body is spending more energy trying to warm yourself up and more energy trying to cool yourself down. So race day, I want it to be cool. Like 10 degrees, aka 48, 50 degrees Fahrenheit. That's cold. That's cold. A cloudy 50 degree day, for me, I'm like, standing outside for 30 minutes without, with shorts and a t-shirt on in 50-degree weather, cloudy with wind, that's cold. Like, that is cold for most people, like.
I'm gonna leave that to be subjective because the Boston winters, but hey, we'll be here all day arguing about what is cold and what is hot, right?
Fair. So look, I get it, but I just like the way I feel, like I said a million times, in heat.
Yeah, and that's where we need y'all to go ahead and continue the conversation, because like we said, it is highly subjective. Let us know in the comments what region you're in and what temperatures are more favorable there, what you're training for, what your optimal temperatures are, because it is polarizing, it is subjective. Let us know down in the comments. We'll keep the party happening down there. Till next time, y'all. It's been real.